Hey everyone, this is my summary video for my FBX animation converter and viewer. So let's see the final result. So here we have a humanoid character that I've created, or that I exported the animation data from. We can switch to a different animation. This is a punch animation. We can make it even faster than it is. We can slow it down. As you saw, I already switched it. So now he's going really slow. I can switch it to the run, and the run's really slow. And then you can make the run go backwards, make the run go forwards. And then if I want, I can pause. So additionally, I have exported animation data from another character, Teddy. So Teddy has two animations that I'll show. Here's the run, or the walk I should say. And here's the idle animation. And same thing, I can speed it up, just pressing a key. I can pause it, play. I can slow it down. I can reverse it. So now he's going really fast backwards. Now he's going really slow. So that was the end result. I will show you how I got there. So here's my converter. Here's my executable, and I go to the command line. And what this is going to do, so the converter needs to be exported right now with specific filtering. So I would have to change something in the macro, and I'd export two different executables, one for each different animation file. Right now it's set up for the humanoid. So there's a humanoid FBX file that I'm referencing, that is in here. So humanoid.fbx, and these are the clips that I was showing you, which I'll recreate. So if we go back to the executable, so I'm going to run this command on the humanoid FBX, and it's going to produce the skeleton, which is the hierarchy of the animation. Tells you how it's laid out, and then it's going to produce the animations that it found in the file. So humanoid.shot, humanoid.run, which I showed you, and humanoid.punch, which I showed you. So when those are brought in to the engine, I have a couple different macros defined. If one's defined, then I can show you the Teddy. If one's defined, then I can show you the humanoid. I could definitely get it set up to show both, but just figured I'd show you individually. So what happens is when those come in, so I read in the skeleton. So right now, since Teddy's defined, it reads in Teddy's skeleton a file from the models folder where it was exported, and then it comes through, uses a pyramid model to kind of show where the bones are, sets that up, and then it reads the first file that we exported and uses the name, and from the name, so you insert the current node, And everything's attached to this rigid body, which allows us to kind of manipulate it easier in the scene. So the first name is submitted, and then every node after that that's submitted looks for its parent name. So I've exported the node name, which is what gets submitted, and then the parent name. And it finds the parent name that I've already submitted. Logically, we know that the parent name, just based on how I've exported it, we know it's in here, so we're gonna find a node, and then once we find the node that has that name, then we make sure we parent the skeleton correctly. So once we have our skeleton set up, then we come in and we get the clip, and the clip is basically a collection of um, bones, bone information, positions where the skeleton should be at a certain time frame. So there's 0 to n frames. So there could be many frames in here. So you don't know how long this is, but it will tell you based on when it comes in um, what the number of frames are and how many bones are in there. So I will show you the animation converter, and so it's essentially, this is where I'm writing out, this file that we received, the import scene, was already kind of giving us a lot of this information. It was printing it out. So I know, when I get to this section where it's telling me, this index is here and it's this name, then I know that I have the information that I want, and so I create, this is the node name, and this is the parent name that I want to export. Same for the animation. Coming in here, and I write out the number of bones and the number of frames for the file, which I get from the file, and then, I have these macros defined for these kind of filtering that I'm doing to make sure that I get the correct number of bones. That's something that we'll need to change if I wanted to make it more general, but really I think it's a conversation between the animator or other artists making the skeleton and how it's laid out, and what's the purpose of this converter, and there has to be some kind of like expectation for how the file should be laid out. So that's why I just have the macros defined for now. And I will show you how I am roughly controlling the animation. So in game, I'm just defining a couple switches and then a value for to increment up or down. So what happens is, each frame we times an offset, a delta time. So here's the control I've defined, and so I plus this number up or down based on my key press. So pushing P makes it go a lot faster, pushing O makes it go a lot slower. In general, I mean, once you get once you get to a negative number, then it'll start reversing, and then it'll start getting reversing really fast. So it just depends on how big of a number. And then here, so pause is the Boolean where if I've pressed spacebar, then I can pause it, and so it only increments the time forward if I pause, and then I can switch animations here. So I basically roughly throw into these two animations, PNM1 and PNM2, the bucket, the animations from the clips that I've created. And so in these clips, they get loaded into here. So I set PNM1, and this could be much better. This is just kind of proof of concept. Architecturally, this is bad, but so I load the clip into this, and then when I'm in the game, I switch what the head is pointing to, and then the relevant process animation and all these different nodes update based on, what is at p head. So I just switch, what it's pointing to, and this could easily be an array that I look through, that I could switch through all the animations that I have. I would just have to file search for the naming convention that I've set up with humanoid.clip. So that is my animation converter, and I hope you enjoyed.